Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Mobisson magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo. We're here at the South Park Center and I'm with the creators to End All Spells. But first, let's take a look at a clip.
Water used to course through the veins of this place. Palve used to grow freely. Back then, Grandma Bia used to say, you couldn't keep your feet on the ground without palve growing right around it. We were the children of the last harvest. And they ripped everything away. The only thing they couldn't strip away was our memory.
Firstly, thank you both for being here. Welcome to the New Filmmakers LA's family. We'll never let you go now, that's it. You think we'll both follow you for the rest of your careers to support you. So you're right.
That's not good.
Yeah.
That's not good so much.
Your film was mesmerizing. And you know, I was in the audience last night watching on the big screen again. And it was just beautiful to see your film on the big screen, firstly, because that's where it deserves. The space deserves magical, beautiful. Now, where did this all begin?
To be honest, a lot of this journey did not really start a traditional way. Yeah, it actually started from the argument that we had. For those that don't know, I've been his music producer for like the past 12 years. And we were working on the album that wound up in David Shell, actually. One of it. And I remember just being livid. I remember being like, man, we put so much time and so much effort into it. And he was like, you know, one of the reasons why you feel as strongly as you do is because you don't have your own project where you get to decide whether or not it lives. And it sparked a whole journey for me where I created a whole album as the producer. And out of that album came this project, making this film for my first time. I think you.
You know, there's not many times we hear it comes out of an armchair. I love it. So, aside from that, you two obviously have a connection.
Well, we're still not talking.
We're still not talking. Oh, really? You still think to the outfit? Oh my God. Okay, we don't know how it's gonna go. That's right. Honestly, but no, I mean, honestly, I love you built this relationship both together. So, when you brought this project and kind of developing this, how did you creatively get yourself involved on this sound out?
So the key and Zachary CFO couldn't make it. I've been on several projects, short films, music visuals that they've done. I trusted them. Mm-hmm. So I don't even think you had a story. You were just like, hey man, we're gonna go rent a Jeep and film in the desert. It was the middle of the pandemic.
Yeah.
So in many ways, we talk about this like our student film, like our first try at building a real film, having a dope camera, and not really having a full idea and figuring it out on the fly. Yeah, it was such a beautiful thing. I don't think we'll ever forget that moment of just, he had a million index cards spread around his room. He was reading every book known to humankind. And he just brought me out there in the desert with Jeep and we just started shooting. And I didn't know too much, but he gave a short story and I followed it. And then I played the role of Egba in the film.
She did.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen a creative visual experience. It's like, I mean, it was like, it's just like Black as Came, like there's not this nurture a nuance and it's so poetic. It is something beautiful to watch. The costumes, the actors, the experiences, the way that you find this choreography, the relationships. Now, when you come in, when you're like, I haven't really got a story, but I've got an idea, I'm going to take it to this place. Like, how do you together creatively like unfold that? What were those steps? And you went out there, you got a Jeep, but then you brought these incredible people on board as well. How did that articulate?
Honestly, in a lot of ways, like when I go back and I reflect on the process, I actually just feel like we're this guy. You know, he went out there like in the stare, just like honestly just being free. Yeah, to be led in the moment. And so in a lot of ways, we have very loose ideas of what we wanted to film. But we did have an idea of like, you know, what we wanted it to look like, what we wanted it to feel like, and we kind of set our intentions around that. And then in a lot of ways, you know, like if you spend time in the desert, you know this, like the desert kind of just leads you, you know, through these mindless, like this paths, and there's going into these different portals. And like, in a lot of ways, if you're receptive to that, the story kind of just unfolds in that space. And what's meant to be there kind of tells you what it wants to happen.
There's a quiet in the desert that you don't get at the beach.
Yeah.
You gotta get in the forest, you don't get on top of a run. It can be eerily quiet. I remember what you get lost with the cream. He said,
Oh, yes, yeah.
He has a tendency to push really far, which is the sign of greatness.
Yes.
Right, pushing to the limits, but he'll bring everybody on board with him. He just has a Noah's Ark vibe about him. So he brought everybody out, and they got
I think it's stuck in a mudslide in the desert.
Well, that Jeep.
Yeah, in the Jeep.
You hit that very well. Good.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much beautiful depth of complexity of the character, of meaning, of the magic, of nuance, of spirituality. Like, I mean, it was just, I mean, again, it's one of those visual experiences that you won't forget, and you want to watch several times to recapture or find new things in there that maybe you didn't see the first time. And you were in front of the camera, and then God, like, what was the experience like for you? How was it for you playing this character, and kind of how are you directed, so to speak, you know, in that respect?
Nana wanted me to tap into the tradition of African trickster gods. Even the name Egba obviously it sounds similar to Legba, Papa Legba, and Haiti, Eshun. He's known in many parts of West Africa, Afro-Caribbean, as the Anansi figure, the trickster that tries to teach and may have some good intentions, but he's willing to go the distance in terms of how he teaches. So I was really excited to play that role, to be smiling but have a sinister feel as well. Mm-hmm. So he knew that I have that in me naturally. So he let me be free, but definitely said, study all those trickster gods, and let that come out.
And I think that is really good. Like, because everyone that was in the film were first-time actors. Everybody.
Yes, they're magnificent.
Yes, it was beautiful because it was like they were just speaking to just like what they felt in the moment. So that is really good. Alongside of our lead character, Mecca, who I feel like both of them really do a great job of just speaking with their eyes, right? And perceive and answer no dialogue. Gesture is so important. Whether your eyes move and the way in which your eyes kind of carry that bone that's deep. And so in a lot of ways, we just wanted to keep that simplicity and speak to that. But I think they really did well in their first films.
I can't even believe it on our point. But I mean, firstly, just, you know, and I loved, it was lovely to see your imagination, your creativity unfold in this film. And for you personally, like, I mean, there's so many visual aspects in there, like in the awards, I was like, it was one of the most breathtaking things I've ever seen. It was stunning.
Yeah.
And also it was just so much beauty. And it was just, I mean, how do you go about creating? I mean, it was incredible. Like, what did you, for you personally, you have an idea of where you want to take us. What you want your audience to experience? Like, what was the kind of direction you wanted them to sort of all still on taking?
I think we kind of led to one place of like just having, you know, one of the aspects that was really important for us was like just seeing Black people on the screen where they just felt powerful. They felt like, you know, the way in which they're highlighted, you could feel, honestly, their aura in the essence. And so like it was very key to like make sure like the way it was lit, you know, I actually spoke to that, right? The way it was the community being proud and speaking to that as well. But the movement of these people in this space, I think, is like the biggest thing. And it's one of those things that like, there's just an intangible that beyond something that you can, right? or perceive that there's an intangible thing that kind of takes over into the space, right? So like you watch scenes. There was a moment where one of the fans was dancing at about midnight at dancing, and we were on this beautiful overlook that is literally overseeing the entire desert. And in the middle of her dancing, it was like probably a 5-8 dance, the wind in the desert picked up out of nowhere. And it hadn't been really all day, but it was like you could just tell that like something visited us in that moment, and we were just literally just capturing it, right? And so in a lot of ways, it's that idea of the intangible comes in the rope. Yeah, the rest of worry.
So it's capturing spirit on the code. Yeah, right. Yeah, I think that's what. I don't even know if you have that intention, but that's what happened. You know, the desert just took us.
Yeah, and you know, I think that's the amazing thing about all. You know, in fact, it's the first time for a lot of the actors who I hope it's the first of many roles that they play. But you really captured it just from a very cinematic experience and perspective, and you know, how did you come? I mean, just let's take the scene from the film. You know, this incredible experience in the water. Like, how did you create this?
Well, we looked at one of the breaths from the desert climate for
yeah,
right, and the full film is kind of speaking to this idea of this mystical plane called power that relates these people to like the spiritual realm. And so we needed to know like what does it actually feel like when you're under the influence of this film.
Yeah.
And in that moment, what comes to you, what actually happens, what you're inspired. And so in a lot of ways, we're thinking about these two sisters who were reunited because they were actually having this kind of dream sequence experience. And in that moment came together and kind of united in ambition or purpose, right? So being guided by ancestral spirit, being guided by spirits that kind of just give you this element of really making clear about the journey through this home. So, yeah, it's in a lot of ways I wanted that moment to feel it.
Yeah, I mean, it really did. I mean, there's so many multiple levels to it. I mean, you know, throughout the film, I love how all the stories really entwined, and it was really actually wonderful to watch the audience watch your film. You know, like that was something really like one of my best friends was like so moved by it. She just like, you know, her, which is amazing, or like just so she's actually a spiritual healer as well. So she was like totally. And actually, one thing I really loved about it, firstly, you showed, you know, power to these beautiful human beings that you brought into this film. You showed this spiritual fluidity that was just so freeing to watch as well. Kind of looking back from this experience, what have you together learned from that?
Well, you did.
Look real live.
Well, for what I learned, first you help.
Hey,
there is a reason. I can make sure.
Yeah.
No, it was great. It was great. Like I think for me, like, you know, I'm excited about the next chapter. Essentially, I'm like, okay, what does it mean now if we focus on like the really compelling dive? What does that look like? What does that mean like? And are you able to capture the same kind of magic in a way where you have something that has a little dialogue, but if it's something actual and something kind of intentional about it. So I think I'm looking forward to like the other elements, essentially kind of what that looks like. But I definitely, for new filmmakers that are out there, I think shooting at first thing makes you free. I've enjoyed the experience of just like, you know, because I'm transitioning as a music producer into this state, right?
Yeah.
And I think the idea of developing masterful or something, right? Once you're in a space for 10 years, you start to kind of like figure out your way, you kind of have your tricks, and you're kind of in a place where you're not always surprising yourself in the same kind of pleasure. And so I think being in a space where you actually allow yourself to be a student in a new state where you know the least, but you have the most to learn. To me is like where the magic starts to happen, you know? And so I think jumping in that full throttle, you're not overthinking, not overplanning, not over, and it's, you know, really just committed to that, allows you to have a different kind of entry point and kind of experience. And then as you gather the tools to continue to like build your craft, it just makes for a completely different kind of transformative there.
Yeah, I would just say, the other day we talked about Robert McKee's story and where he's talking about the successful writers versus the writers that are just getting started. The writer that just gets started, they're going to write 120 pages to share it to their friends and get the feedback and rewrite it. But the successful writer might just have 60 index cards and then pitch it to you tomorrow as a 8-minute story and just watch your reaction. And they won't write a single page to 4 months. And I think that what I learned watching you and then jumping in with you is when you jump in the pool and just learn how to swim. Yeah, you have a certain amount of humility you have a certain amount of adventure, and those combined with a love for learning. I think that's the recipe for taking huge leaps between one project to the next. So, you know, we're literally leaving this and we're going to create a bunch of concepts for the next films, the shorts, everything. Because I've learned that I love this space. Coming from music into film, I'm now way more visually compelled and a much better visual student than I ever was. But it's partially watching this down and just jumping in with help.
I love you guys. Oh my God, this is the best argument you've ever had. You realize that, right? Look what happened for this argument.
Arguing your friends.
Yeah.
It's like breakthrough.
But your family, so for everything, right? That's what it's about. You found your chosen filmmaking family. It's beautiful. I'm so happy you brought this film to us, honestly, because this was a wonderful experience for us. And I'm so glad you found your gift of filmmaking as well as music, because, you know, they're not as far away as you think, you know, in most ways, you know. So is there anything you could allude to? Obviously you said what was coming next. Where are you taking us next? Either genre or where are we going? Where are you heading next?
We'll see. We're excited. We're excited. Yeah. Again, like I think playing in the space is like we're just being led by like, again, not overthinking anything, but just having fun and paying attention. So there's definitely different genres that are playing. Some are, feature ideas. Some are other shorts. Some are even documentary. So we're just letting our imagination run wild.
Yeah, we're compiling a whole bunch of things right now. I think just to tag on to the last question, remember that you're a child. Remember your inner youth. That's what this process was like for you. Actually, just working with you in general, I feel like we're like two little boys just playing, and I'm saying whatever tools our parents gave us or any tool that the neighborhood kid just tried over. That's what it feels like. I don't ever want to lose that. So we're just, all right, what's next? So we have a long list of films, and we're going to conceptualize and put them together and share with the world.
Oh, I can't wait, man. I can't wait. This is so exciting. I'm so glad. I'm really excited for the next, visionary, imaginary place, spiritual place you're going to take as an expert. But thank you so much for bringing your film to us, and welcome to the family.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Thank you both. Thank you.